Hi guys, my name is Phoenix and today I'm going to be doing a video on how to properly care for your leopard gecko. Without any further ado, let's roll right into it. First thing I'm going to talk about is housing. You're going to want around a 10-gallon terrarium. 20-gallon is okay, 15-gallon, no bigger than a 20-gallon. It actually stresses them out and kind of freaks them out and makes them really scared and freaked out about their environment. Okay, so that is what you're going to want for it. This kind of goes with it, substrate. For a good substrate, you want paper towels. It's a really good substrate. I also highly would recommend that you use Eco-Earth for adult leopard geckos, because Eco-Earth is actually an amazing substrate because it does not impact them, but it's a loose substrate. You cannot use anything like bark. Bark is absolutely horrible for them. You cannot use bark, you can't use aspen, you can't use any kind of rodent bedding, you can't use any kind of sand, even if it's like reptile sand, it's all special with a leopard gecko on it. It cannot be used for a leopard gecko unless you want a dead leopard gecko, which I don't think anyone here wants. The next thing I'm going to talk about is heating. You're going to want a overhead heat lamp or an under tank heat mat. Either of those are fine. You can also use heat tape, but I prefer the overhead. It just can't be a UVA or a UVB, and it has to be low wattage, and it has to be one with a dimmer if you want it to be useful. And I use one with a dimmer, and it works just fine for me. The next thing I want to mention, which again kind of goes with housing, hides. Hides are very important for leopard geckos. They need to have good hides. Oh my god, he's crawling up my shoulder. Nobody. They need to have good hides. They need to be either like log style or cave style. Something like that is usually the best. But yeah, log style or cave style is what I would recommend. So, another thing that some people debate on is if you need a human hide or not. I say you should use it if you're just getting one. Give them the option, but if they really don't use it, then yeah, go ahead, take it out. It's a bit of a waste of space. So yeah. Now I'm going to talk about decor, which again kind of goes with housing. You can add an occasional plant here and there. Got to make sure it's securely implanted. You also have to be very sure that it's safe for them. You can't just take a plant from outside or something, which I've actually seen some people try to do without doing a big long process that absolutely sucks. It's mostly free, but pretty annoying too. This is why we spend our money, people. Come on. It's society. And then, so you can do that. There's also many kinds of DIY hides that you can make. Paper mache hides. There's a lot of different stuff you can do. So really, there's a huge variation of hides that you can use. Substrate also goes with this. I recommend Eco-Earth or paper towels or newspaper. But again, you probably heard this on other videos. No sand, no sand, no sand whatsoever. No matter if it has a leopard gecko on it, if it's calci sand, if it's a special kind of reptile sand, it's still unsafe for them and it still has a big chance of killing them. So, you got to be extremely careful about that one. The next thing I'm going to say that I think is extremely true when it comes to food is crickets are the best option. I think they are. I believe they are. They're the most nutritious and they're the most stimulating. You can feed them mealworms as a staple diet. I prefer crickets as a staple diet, but I mean, it's your choice. It's your gecko. Dubia roaches are also a newer option, but I still prefer crickets. You can obviously do an occasional mealworm there, an occasional dubia roach if you're doing crickets. You can always do those other foods, and it's actually kind of good to keep their diet varying, but it's okay to keep them on one base food too. Okay. I think that is about it, except for the last two things I'm going to cover. Multivitamins, or calcium, or whatever. You got to have calcium, you got to have a vitamin D3 supplement, and you have to have quite a few other supplements, and there are tons of videos out there on it, so yeah. I don't want to go into depth about that. I'm just doing a bit general here. But yeah. Okay, so when it comes to that, as I said, calcium, you need D3. There are a few other supplements that could help but aren't really mandatory. D3 and vitamin D3 and calcium is the most important vitamin you can get. So yeah, and now cleaning, which is my very last one. You just got to remove all the substrate. You've got to remove any dead or alive leftover animals. You have to have a little critter cage or something to put them in while you're cleaning it. And you got to put in fresh new bedding. Can't use the old one at all. New bedding. And you have to wipe it down with a reptile-safe antibacterial or warm water and soap. You got to make sure it's clean on the bottoms, the sides. Make sure you get any dirt off. Make sure you're really good about that, because that's extremely important for the hygiene of your animal and the hygiene of whatever room you're keeping it in. The next thing I'm going to cover on cleaning is, some people say, how big of a container should I put them in while I'm cleaning? There are temporary bin cages you can set up that are good to set up for cleaning, but you can really just put them in a big Tupperware. Anything like that's really fine. And then just put some paper towels at the bottom and they're good to go. Okay, that's about all I'm going to cover for today. Hope you guys enjoyed and found this very informative. Have a good day and bye.